Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this time for us to be together during American Education Week. Please lead, guide, and direct our decision making so that we make decisions that are in the best interest of our students and the goals that we have adopted for our system. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have any special recognition, Dr. Matthews?
We do, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Tonight, we are recognizing a student from Oak Hill Elementary who recently received statewide recognition for a poster she created. I'd like to call Miss Madison Gonzalez to come forward. Madison? Let's give her a round of applause. Madison is a first grade student at Oak Hill Elementary School, and she recently won third place in the 2011 statewide fire safety poster contest in the first grade area. The contest was open to all Georgia elementary school students in grades K through 5. Students were asked to create a poster emphasizing one of 12 fire safety tips that reflected this year's theme, protect your family from fire. Madison based her poster on safety tip number 9, have a meeting place outside your home that the whole family knows about. As a result of her accomplishment, Madison was recently recognized by Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner Ralph T. Hutchins at the 19th Annual Life, Fire, and Safety Awards Luncheon at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Forsyth, Georgia. Madison's art teacher is Mr. Clevester Graham, and this is the second year that one of his students at Oak Hill has placed in the statewide fire safety poster contest. We congratulate Madison and Mr. Graham on a job well done. Madison's parents, would you please stand up? You've got a wonderful daughter there.
Graham here.
Thank you. And the teacher, Miss Graham, is Miss Graham here? Mr. Graham, please stand. Mr. Graham. Thank you, Mr. Graham.
2 years in a row. That's quite nice.
That's outstanding, Madison. Outstanding.
Any public participation? I don't think we have any, Dr. Matthews. We'll move on. I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Meadows. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baker. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the minutes, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Coggins, second by Mr. Meadows. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries. Superintendent's report. Operation of Dr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir. We have nothing to add to the financial report, so you may want to take action on it, and then we do have something to add to our operations report.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries.
For our operations report, I mentioned to the board last week that we would have Mr. Moore here and that we've been working diligently to let the board know the status of our moving to the Newton College and Career Academy. And Mr. Johnson, we've been buying coats and doing all we can to make this as warm a subject as possible. But I think that Burlington is tired of looking at us, so here we are today with where we are and where we're going to be in terms of the Career Academy. So with that said, I have Mr. Moore come up and we'll talk through where we are.
Good evening. I can't follow that.
Just have your coat handy.
That's what we call talking in code.
Setup, I think, is the word. Okay. We've got to give the screen just a minute to warm up. There we go. Okay. As you know, we've had some difficult times keeping our contractor on track. And one of the issues that we had was him not feeling like he could get everything done. So with the cooperation of Mr. Woodard and Dr. Carpenter and working with the contractor, we've worked out the things that we really need to have in order to open and function with the classes and programs that Mr. Woodard plans to have in place for the beginning of this operation. What I've highlighted here in yellow is all of the functioning lower level, the bottom level. Now, we will not be using all of that. This classroom here, the horticulture, and this classroom here, the construction lab, will be the only classes on that floor to begin with. The balance of the spaces will be finished along with stairwells, corridors, toilets, and janitorial facility. This is all unfinished space that was never intended to be finished until you decide to expand programs or utilize that space. So it will remain as unfinished space for the time being. We will be able to use these areas to bring in materials for the other levels. Both of our elevators will be complete. One elevator is located here, which is basically a large space associated with it that would be for, in the future, bringing in paper supplies for graphics and other things that would need to be brought to the building. But it also has the elevator located right there, so we can bring in fixtures and things that will need to go to classrooms. That will be functioning December the 7th, or be completed by December 7th, which will have it functioning in time. Can we move to the upper level, the main level? This is the main level, and as you can see, we've shaded all of that except for the lecture hall and a portion of the early child care program. We're going to go ahead and finish these two rooms so that they can be used as classrooms. Even though we're not going to have a program in early childhood, we'll use them for other classrooms for the time being. All of this area will be finished and will be used during the program, during the daily use. The culinary and kitchen area, which is this area back here, will be completed, even though we will not be using the serving area because there will be no food preparation served out of that area to begin with, but it will be complete. The lecture hall, this area here, has built-in lecture tables with attached seats, data. It's a timely operation to set up, and since it's not going to be utilized initially, we felt like that was a space that we could not have the contractor wasting time on. We could finish that after you get in the building. It's easily secured from the inside and the outside. There is a data room here and a data room over here. Those will be complete within the next week or so that technology can go ahead and set up their frames. They're already feeding cable to those rooms, so it won't take them too long, hopefully, to get set up over the next month. All of the classes that would have been on the third floor, if you go to the third floor there, Dennis, were located in this area and these areas right here. Those are going to be temporarily utilized on the main level so that we can work with the inspection code people to not have any work on that floor that we have to get approved between now and January. The work will mostly be done. The walls are pretty much all studied in now. A lot of the gypboard is there. So by the end of December, that'll be a pretty complete area with primarily finishes left. The stairwells, the data area, and this balcony, the reason this has to be finished is it overlooks all of that area on the lower level. So it has to be finished so we can secure this door, and this door. That keeps anyone from being able to access that area during the daytime. We will not allow the contractor to be in the building when students are in the building. The schedule for classes is a little after 12 till just before 3, at which time they return to their home schools. So the contractor will have from whatever time he wants to start early in the morning until noon, which is just about a full day's work. He can phase his trades rather than having them all in there at the same time, to have some people work through these areas, maybe with paint, maybe with flooring, maybe with ceiling, whatever, in order to get one trade out of the way and let another trade come in after 3 and work to whatever time they want to spend there in the evening, probably a minimum of 6 hours. So that
For the benefit of the board, and you may already know this, we're not changing the schedule of the school at the Career Academy. Regardless of this, it was still gonna run from 12 until 3 for the remainder of this school term. So I don't want you to think that this is changing the daily schedule. Second semester was scheduled to be from 12 until 3 for the remainder of this school term.
I have a question.
yes, sir.
During the time that school will be going on, will there be any construction work done on the premises?
No, sir. That's what I was just saying. They'll have from, say they want to start at 6, that's about daylight right now. They can work from 6 till 12. By 12, they have to clear the building. They can bring other crews or the same crews back in at 3 after all the students have gone back to their home school, and they can work till whatever time they want to set up in the evening. That allows them really as much or more time than they have right now in a given day. But they'll primarily, go ahead and go to the,
Well,
yeah.
will any of them be reporting early? The reason I'm asking this question is because we don't know who some of the workers may be, and we just want to make sure there's no registered sex offenders
I see.
on the property.
Okay. I understand. There won't be during the hours that students are there.
Okay.
Now, what we can do is we can get with the contractor and we'll just get a list of people that are gonna be there. Generally, if we're doing a renovation, we want to know who's going to be there. We may have them wear badges or something like that, so they're identifiable. But only the general superintendent for the general contractor would be on site, and he'll be in his trailer during that operation period. This is basically a written description of what I've said just now on the lower level, the main level, and the upper level. The date for that is for you to be able to move in on the 4th with students. And talking to Mr. Woodard, he'll be there a day or 2 before to set up classrooms and things like that. But the students arrive, as I understand it, on the 4th. So that you understand how the building will operate, the fire protection, which is the sprinkler system, will be operational throughout the building. So should anybody have any kind of an accident at some point on the 3rd floor, go off and leave something, the sprinkler is functional and will work. So will the fire alarm system and the stair enclosures. That's why they're highlighted all the way to the 3rd floor. They will be functional in that building just as if you were occupying the 3rd floor. So life safety is taken care of completely. The intercom system will be fully operational, meaning that whoever's in the administrative office could contact the 3rd floor if he needed to in the morning or in the afternoon to let them know it's time to clear the building, move out, or the building's been cleared by students, you can move back in. I think we'll work out access to the building so that the access is limited on the general contractor's part, and that the owner's representatives on site, which may be Mr. Woodard, will have access to that area so that he can get in and out of it. The HVAC system is almost complete now. It will be functional and operating on the lower and main level completely, fully operational. We will only operate as much as we need on the 3rd level to keep finishes in a proper state for humidity and drying and such. The filters will be changed regularly to make sure we don't damage the HVAC units with dust. The what did I miss there? The elevators, both elevators will be completed. The elevator in the rear is the only one that will be used, and it's for the owner's use, not for the contractor. Both of them can be locked by key operation, so the one in the front will be shut down completely until that third floor has been certified by the fire marshal and the building inspector to be used. Then it can be opened at the owner's discretion. The owner will have the use of the third one, of the rear one, to transport computer equipment, furniture, and so forth. I think we've already talked about those other the last three items. I put them up there in case I've rambled and didn't clearly state everything. That's the plan that we have. We think that the contractor has bought into this and that we'll be able to accomplish what we set out to here. Are there any questions I can answer?
Yes, one comment. Will there be open ceilings?
No, sir.
All ceilings will be
All,
closed?
all the ceilings on the first two levels will be closed. They'll have to be closed. There will be ceilings on the third floor they'll be in and out of to complete their work. But we'll try to keep them closed up at all times.
Do we have a scheduled debris removal for students occupied when they come in and do their work?
They will have to clean up daily. By the time we get to the end of December, all of the work that generates a lot of trash will pretty much be done. The drywall will be complete. There will be packaging, and they'll have to take that down the stairs every day to a dumpster.
I want to ask Mr. Woodard something, but it might be something you need to answer with him. Sometime, in December before the holidays, is there a chance we could arrange a tour where we could go through the building, or is that okay? Like we did with, I know Flint Hill, we did it later, but.
It's fine with me.
Sure.
Okay.
Just make sure you bring your coat.
All right. Some folks already had a tour, I think. Right? Am I wrong?
I had one this afternoon.
Was it?
That's not what you're referring to. but-
No, I wasn't. That's okay. I would like to see it.
Is that something the whole board would like to do
Yes.
Yeah.
prior to the holidays?
Well, if that's workable for you, I mean, it could be January. I mean, whatever.
It's working for me.
Yeah. If you think January's better, whatever you and Dr. Matthews come up with.
But January will be finished except for the third floor, so we won't see it before January.
I don't care when. I just would like to see it when
The
you
Lord's
think it's the
call.
right
I'd
time.
like to see it when it's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Maybe that first week in
January.
June.
That would be
Yeah.
fine.
One
Yeah.
question that I thought would come from the board, but it didn't, is when are we gonna have Nesia completely out of there? And the target date for that is the 31st of January. We want them completely out by the 31st, so that's the date that they're working toward with the finishes on the third floor and that type of thing. And that's still a good date, Mr. Moore?
Yes.
When's the first board meeting in January? Is that the second week of January?
Second week of January.
Second Tuesday.
January 10th.
Would you like to do it prior to the board meeting?
That'd be fine. Yeah.
On the 10th.
Will all of that equipment in the alcovey culinary kitchen, will all of that go, or will any of that remain with alcovey?
There's like 6 pieces that have been identified to be relocated out of the culinary kitchen
Mm-hmm.
to the kitchen at
Okay.
the Career Academy. The rest of it will be new equipment.
What use will alcovey make? Will they retain some sense of culinary, or?
The culinary piece in each of the base schools will be primarily focused on family and consumer science.
I got you. Okay.
With an angle on food nutrition
Okay.
as an intro to culinary arts. And also they'll do some intro to early childhood to help pipeline students.
It's like pre-pathway
Right, that's
or
right.
early path. I got you. Okay. Sounds good.
One other item that we asked Mr. Moore to help us out with was related to the board's conversation about a data center. We had Scala and Associates, and I may not be pronouncing their name correctly, but they gave us some information about 3 options. And then when we went to them and told them we wanted hard numbers from their viewpoint on the 4th option, which was relocation to the Career Academy, they maybe said they didn't. What exactly did they say?
It was professionally correct to impose upon someone else's project.
So with that being said, we appreciate their gratitude in that area. But anyway, with that being said, we took the entire set of options to Mr. Moore, and he's looked at the 3 options along with Barry Spurlock, who's the electrical engineers we use for our projects. And Mr. Moore has an update from Mr. Spurlock and that work that we probably want to share with the board to bring that to completion.
Essentially, and I don't know if you have seen the report from the all of those options are viable options depending on what you want to do as a board. They were set up based on the lowest cost means of doing something to the highest cost. And after reviewing them, Mr. Spurlock's take on each of the items, comparing the costs as he understood them, he feels like they all are pretty much on the money with what he would cost that out for if he were doing it. So there's no, he's not disputing their cost, and he doesn't disagree with the arrangement of which one would cost a little more and a little more. So basically what it boils down to is how much does the board feel like it can expend on the project, and does the board feel like they want to go to the Career Academy or modify this building and its components? But we feel like it is a fair representation of your options.
But we haven't had a recommendation on that, have we?
We just had this.
Okay.
I need some clarity on something, because I understand you're saying the other company, what did they say? They didn't want to impose on somebody else?
Well, they said they didn't want to do it, is what was told to me, and for those reasons that Dr. Shattuck just provided.
Why do they not want to do it?
It's not professional for them to go into a building that they weren't a part of the original construction of, and then start taking measurements and all that when it was an ongoing construction by another engineering firm.
Well, they weren't part of this construction either, were they?
Yeah, but it was already completed.
Right, I got you.
That's
I
ongoing
see.
construction that they're actively working on. And they felt that was
Right.
an unprofessional overstepping the boundaries of another engineering firm.
But I thought we clearly told them that if they were going to bid on it, it would still have to be a bid process. We just wanted to do a comparison.
They weren't intending to bid on it. They were just doing an analysis, a cost analysis.
Right.
And developing some
Yeah,
options
so-
for us to look at.
So they don't want to take that project on, but
Well, they would be happy to if
After
the
completion?
contract, well, if we decided to let them do their work, but depending on what direction you want to go, they would be glad to come back and then do a full workup of the engineering and develop some bid documents so contractors could then bid on it.
meaning they would be part of the bidding process as
Well,
well.
Not necessarily.
They would be, or, we could turn it over to Mr. Spurlock and his firm. This was just an analysis, a cost analysis of what it would cost, roughly cost, and
Okay.
it's been verified that these costs are accurate. And they developed the 3 options. And the options, according to Mr. Spurlock, I believe this is
Very
accurate,
reasonable.
were very reasonable options. So it's a well-done analysis.
But I
Option.
would know that unless I had somebody else to compare it with, which was the point of the other company.
But I think Mr. Moore is saying it was fairly on target. So
He
wasn't
basically
option
did the same
four,
thing.
wasn't option 4 $590?
Option 4 was $590, but the option 4 included some equipment costs that the other 3 options did not include. Because we were staying here, option 4 would mean moving everything out to the
Right,
Career Academy.
right.
So there was some additional
I think the board will need to
equipment costs.
revisit this in detail to make a reasoned a decision. The board, I think, may want to revisit this in detail.
Yeah, but
Yes.
first I think we need to have some clarity as to what exactly we're looking for. Because I think, like Ms. Baker said, that we don't have anything to compare one price with another price, number one. And number two, are we seeking bids to do X, Y, and Z? So those are the things that I think we need to have some clarity on.
To try to clarify that, we don't seek any bids until we have clear direction on what we're doing. Gary
Right.
Shattuck had the firm come in that gave us the 3 options. They took our information for the 4th option that we'd already done. But in order to compare apples and apples, I took the whole document to Mr. Spurlock because they didn't want to cost out the final one. And taking it there, we compared their 3 options. Mr. Spurlock feels like their own in terms of what's least cost effective, what's most cost effective to what's most expensive, and they're on target in terms of a natural progression in improving it more and improving it more and improving it more. So now what we're in a position where we need to look at where do we go next in terms of finishing up this type of thing.
And that's a,
moving forward with this
and that's a
type of-
board
That's
discussion.
the
You're going to
board
have to tell us
discussion.
where you want to go with this, and that's why I'm suggesting we're going to have to
Well,
revisit this.
I'm a bit disappointed where we can have a contractor tell us what they want bid on because they are displaying some type of courtesy. It appears to me that we got a bum contractor. We wanted a bid, it's my understanding, from the contractor.
Mr. Johnson, if I could respond to that.
Sure.
Number one, the engineering firm, Jordan and Scala, did exactly what I asked them to do, which is come in and analyze our situation and develop 3 options. The board had asked me for multiple options on what could be done to the space that we looked at. They came in and did exactly what I asked them to do. They weren't developing a bid option, bids. They were actually coming in and doing a preliminary analysis. Now, it's up to the board to decide which direction they want to go. Do they want to do the least cost option, or do they want to do one of the other 3 that's
And I
better?
thought
that-
we was clear that we wanted a price on the highway, what it will cost, because we didn't have a bid. We had a good, I would say, a gentleman's estimate, okay? But it was not priced out to implement, and that's what this board, as I understand it, was looking for.
And that one option, he didn't touch, the person who did the presentation. And so that's the option I'm talking about, that I need. I can't make a decision unless I have a comparison with somebody else. That's unfair to.
Well, that's why it was turned over to Dr. Carpenter and Mr. Moore and his firm and the engineering firm that works with them to develop an accurate estimate or an accurate analysis of what it would take to put it in the basement of the Career Academy. And do you have any figures for that?
I think that,
Just what we gave you before.
I think
So
what
the
we
numbers
probably,
they gave me before are accurate enough for you to make,
I
but it
think-
still has to be bid out.
I think
And
what
most
we're-
likely, the bid would come in lower than these estimates.
but I think
can't
we're at
say
the
that
point
for
where
sure,
we've
but that's
gotten,
what the
we've
most
gotten
likely
some of
happen.
these numbers to compare with option 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now it's up to the board decision to decide which option we want to pursue.
Correct.
Once we decide that,
Then it-
then we will request
A
the
bid
bid
out.
process to take place.
right.
So that's where we are now. We need to identify which option we want to pursue. Option 1, 2, 3, or 4. Once
Correct.
that has done, because what we've done, we got some estimated cost as to how much it would probably cost for each one of these options. So now we're at a point where we need to decide which option we want to pursue and then bid it out. If, that's what I think we need to
But
go
one
now.
option we didn't have an analysis of is what I'm saying. The other options we did. And so for me, for that option, the option to go over to the Career Academy, I can't even look at it. I'll just be honest.
Well, if I can, I'll let Mr. Moore speak for himself, but the number that I gave you was an estimate that I received from Mr. Moore. And I just asked him just now, and he said that estimate is still a solid number. And he checked with his engineering firm. So the number is in the ballpark of what it would bid, the bid would come in at. I would like to mention one thing, because Mr. Johnson brought up the point about the 100-year floodplain. I did check with the county government, with the GIS department, and they said that the basement of the Career Academy is 27 feet higher in elevation than the 100-year floodplain. So that concern has been alleviated.
Okay.
Thank you.
The 100-year floodplain, if I may add, is on our drawings. We had to establish that before we could get state approval for the location, and it's down below the barns, down on the lower side of the property.
So having that information that's been presented thus far, are we all on the same page that we want to decide, number one, which option we want to pursue? And then once we've done that, to start a bidding process? Are we clear? Everybody clear on that? So what we'll need to do as a board, we need to discuss this at a later date so that we can decide which option we want to pursue. And then at that time, we'll present to you, Dr. Shatter, as what option we want to pursue to draw specs to be bidded out.
And I'll be more than happy to go through each option again, showing the benefits and the liabilities of each option to give you more information so you can make a decision that you feel happy with.
And the other piece that Mr. Moore added after he did his analysis along with Barry Spurlock, you may want to add, Mr. Moore.
Yes. Basically, you can't really do anything with what has been developed at this point. This building was designed and permitted as a school use, and we would have to, or someone would have to go back, develop the plans for the use of that area, since it's not an educational space, and get it permitted through the fire marshal and the building department so that you didn't have any problems later on with somebody coming in and saying you're not operating properly. So that's just something that should be part of the process as you go forward. Sometimes that gets overlooked in our haste to get things done, and those folks catch us.
Do you see any difficulties in getting that approved?
Oh, no, but it's one of those things, the state fire marshal comes through your building once a year. Later on, if he were to stumble on that, he could create some problems for you. You don't want that.
When this comes up on the agenda, can you download into SharePoint that PowerPoint of that packet, so we'll have that to look at up here while we're discussing it?
Absolutely, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay.
When would you like for us to bring this back?
What?
At our next
Yeah,
board meeting?
December.
In December, yeah.
Because this has been kind of out there for a while. It would make sense that we could move forward, would it
At our
not?
work session in December, and to be voted on the following.
We'll have one meeting.
We only have one.
We have one meeting.
Well, we have a meeting on the 14th, too. So we actually have two meetings in December, a combined work session, regular meeting, as well as a special called meeting related to the theme school expansion and the status of our bond millage, so.
And that's at 3 p.m. on the 14th?
3 p.m. on the 14th of December, a day after.
So what about we do
December
this on the 15th? Is that right?
That's 3 days in a row if you do that.
No, do this at the next meeting.
The 13th.
13th of December.
Right. And I didn't mean that. I meant the 13th. I don't want to meet 3 days.
We could bring it back December 13th if it's your pleasure, we could.
Yes, I like that idea.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the operations report unless there are further questions.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you. Next item is Mr. Woodard.
No, we've done that. We just had that one.
I'm sorry.
I thought we were done with him.
Dr. Proctor, you have item B.
Yes, sir. There are no additions or to the curriculum or the curriculum instruction report or the enrollment report.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve these items as presented, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Coggins, second by Mr. Meadows. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. All opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, old business, Dr. Proctor, you again, please.
Yes, sir. Would you like us to take all three items together?
Yes, if there's no changes, we go ahead.
Yes, sir. There are no changes to these. These were first presented to you on October 11th, So they have been on the table for more than the 30-day period, so we're asking them to be approved with no changes as they were originally presented.
Okay, great. Can I get a motion to approve items on the old business, items A, B, and C?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Meadows, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baker, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same, motion carries. New business, item A and B, is Dr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to add to items A and B.
Okay, could I get a motion to approve items A and B on the new business, please?
So made.
Motion by Ms. Coggins, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baker, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same, motion carries. Item C, Ms. Fury?
Nothing to add, it will just remain on the table until the December 13th meeting where we'll request action.
Okay, thank you. Item D, Dr. Shattuck?
I have nothing to add to item D.
Okay, thank you, sir. Item E, Dr. Carpenter?
Take action on
Okay,
that.
action.
Okay, I'm sorry. Item D, yeah, we need to take action on that. Need a motion to approve item D, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baker, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, item E,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, at this time, we'll ask the board to approve all personnel items as outlined during executive session.
So moved.
Second.
motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Baker, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion carries. Any other matters of interest by any of the board members?
Yes, I would like, we finished our 9 hours today of required, what do you call it?
Local
Sta-
board.
State board required, out of the Senate bill, where we had to do this together. And so we're done with that for a fiscal year. But it was, part of today was about strategic planning. It was real nice to be on this board because we shined in that area when it came to strategic planning, and that is due to the work of the ELT and how that trickles down into the local schools, as well as Dr. Matthews. So I think you should hear those things because we looked good at RISA, and a lot of compliments came our way.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else?
You're welcome, Dr. Turner.
Make you feel warm?
Chief Turner. I need one of those coats, sweater.
Any other matters
So
of
bad.
interest?
I have one. Just, you guys know I like to share information. The only thing I have to share this week is a part of American Education Week. I went out to Porterdale yesterday, and I read to some second graders. And I just want to share this little story of how old I truly am and how the second graders are so honest and make you feel so old. Well, I am a product of Porterdale Elementary, so I was telling the students about that. And and they were asking me if the class was still the same and the school looked the same, and I told them yes, with the exception of the active board. I didn't have an active board. I had a chalkboard. We learned on chalkboards. And the students go, "What's a chalkboard?" And I said, "Are you serious?" And they were like, "Yeah, what's a chalkboard?" And I explained what a chalkboard was and how we used to have to go get a bucket full of water and wash down the chalkboard every day for the teacher and go outside and clap the erasers and create this big cloud of chalk. And their facial expression was like, "Really?" And so I was explaining all of this, and one of the little children, one of the kids said, "Oh, my grandma has a chalkboard." So I'm not quite as old as grandma, but I thought it was a cute little story. So I really did enjoy them. So, but it goes to show, and the teachers, the first thing they said, "We'll show you what a chalkboard is on the active board." So we're making use of the active board. So just wanted to share that little story.
Thank you.
I almost started to tell them, and you know that when I was young, we didn't have remote controls. We actually had to walk over to TV and turn it off.
Oh, Papalaya.
I don't remember that.
Ms. Coggins, you have anything?
No. Just thankful that I work with this Board of Education and our staff. It's the holidays and seeing the kids this afternoon or tonight over with their little Thanksgiving program, and all the
activities and the negative comments that you hear out in our local community and state government and nationally. I'm very appreciative to work with this staff, this board, and we are a team, and it's great.
Mr. Johnson?
Just want to wish the staff a happy Thanksgiving, including all the students that's in the county.
And I'd just like to say for everyone to keep in mind with the holidays coming up, that we're going to have a lot of children in our system who won't have a Thanksgiving or a Christmas like we're accustomed to. So just give them that little extra smile and to help them along these holidays, because some of them are going to be very disappointed because of things they're not going to have. So, but we appreciate everything that you guys do. Dr. Mathis, your turn.
Just one thing, Mr. Chairman, board members. I also want to wish our faculty and staff a happy Thanksgiving, and I echo Mr. Turner's sentiments exactly. I will just remind us, and I see Alice in the office in the audience from the Newton Citizen. We are going to co-sponsor the Principal for the Day activity with the Covington-Newton County Chamber of Commerce. And so on November the 29th, some 23 leading citizens of this community will shadow each of our 23 principals, and that includes the Challenge Charter as well. So they'll do that for the morning, going through an agenda and visits at the school. And then on that same day at 12:30 in this building, the executive leadership team and I will meet with these 23 individuals to hear their reports. What did they see? What did they like? What would they like to recommend that we do differently even? And capture some of that and share it with our principals. But I think it bodes to be a very positive experience, I think, for both the business leadership as well as our principals, who really do an excellent job.
Thank you, Doctor.
The board will be.
Are you asking me, is the board invited to the luncheon?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, because you know me, I'm going to tell you everything they said anyway.
Okay, all minds are clear. Need a motion to adjourn, please. Motion by Mr. Meadows. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baker. We all stand adjourned.